Hi, welcome back to Million Dollar Brands. I'm Laura Lian Williams, and I'm the creative director and founder at Laura Lian Design Studio, and we're so excited to have our guest with us today. Welcome to Ragu.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
Of course. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and we just want to learn more about your story and how you got started with Always Be Connecting.
Yeah, so it started a long time ago when I first got into networking. I joined my first Chamber of Commerce about 15 years ago.
Okay.
And so I was in the insurance industry at that point, and I had my first taste of what networking was, and just meeting people and finding out what truly makes them tick, and
Sure.
more about their business and the person behind their brand and,
Right.
and their company. And so I didn't really do much. I just went through the motions at the beginning, and then fast forward 15 years later, I'm a networking coach.
Yeah.
And where that came from was I feel like I've mentored a lot of people when it comes to networking, when it comes to finding ways to open doors for people.
Nice.
And connecting them to power partners.
Sure.
So most people care about finding out, somebody who's a good customer for them. But what about connecting somebody to a power partner, somebody who can potentially refer them business,
Right.
vice versa,
True.
and then even learn from each other, because we're not alone in our struggles or our opportunities. And so we can definitely learn from even our competitors. And so
Right.
that's the abundance mindset that I've learned by, the Go Giver book that I read, and another one's called Give and Take by Adam Grant. That's another good book to read.
It's a good book recommendation. Dirk really enjoyed that first one, the Go Giver book. So thank you so much. So now that I know that you're a business coach and Always Be Connecting is the name of your brand, what's the easy, maybe 1, 2, or 3 steps that you could give someone on they're brand new in their business and they have no clue where to start? Like, networking is kind of a scary thing, and maybe they do or don't have a brand. What's something you recommend to start with?
Yeah, I just like people have business plans, and they build that marketing plan. Have a networking plan and strategize and find out, even do a SWOT analysis. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so do that analysis before you even go out networking, and identify the potential places of where you want to do business and who do you want to do business with, as well as maybe you have some commonalities of clients that you're going after, and maybe there are other people that go after the same clients but don't do what you do. And even if they do, if they're competitors, nobody has 100% closing ratio.
True.
So develop that plan, and then set time on your calendar. That's the key. If you set the amount of time on your calendar and you're consistent about your networking efforts, then you'll appear to have way more exposure with people, and they'll trust you. You build trust with people, and the way to build trust is they see you more than just one time.
That's really cool.
It's networking is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. Well, I like how you took the strategic approach, because I think people think, oh, I either do it or I don't do it, and they don't think that, oh, I should have a networking plan. And it reminds me, too, of the same thing about how we have a brand plan in place as well for our clients. They think, oh, you don't need to know my business plan. I'm like, no, but I do, because I want to make sure that my brand strategy plan is aligned with your business plan. You can't do one without the other, and it sounds like kind of this is the same. So how do you work? Do you work with clients long term, or how do you do the coaching with them?
Yeah, so some people are long term, some people are shorter term. It doesn't matter. It depends on the customer.
Sure.
Depends on what they're looking for. I work with individual coaching, group coaching.
Nice.
I collaborate with other business coaches
That's
to
cool.
put on either events or trainings or coaching sessions to accommodate whatever the audience is looking for. So,
That's really cool.
some people I help with social anxiety of networking. Other people I've helped with the process of even filling an event. Like you have an event and you want it to be successful.
Sure.
So what are the steps you take to make sure, for example, if you're doing an event, right?
Yeah.
Number one, how do you do it?
Yeah.
follow-up process, even beforehand, making sure that you are limiting no-shows,
Yep.
collecting the right information so you have that information, and then also how are you targeting the right audience,
Yeah.
and then also collecting what they actually care about most, so when they are there, you know what to focus on
True.
at the event.
No, that's really nice because I think again people think, oh, hurry up, I need to do an event so I have food and beverages and all that other really nice stuff. But when you're not strategically doing almost the marketing part and it's part of your brand too, which I think is kind of being professional and reminding people, hey, here's what to expect. And even as simple as like the instructions, how do I get there if I've never been to that physical location? And so that's really cool that you help also from an event perspective, not just I coach you groups or in singles, but can you tell us more about that? Because I feel like I know some people that are kind of struggling where they've been in the community for a bit, but they're like, I'm still like not getting fresh people at my door.
Yeah, so what I would do is coach them on identifying their last new face
Oh,
and
okay.
utilizing them as
Sure.
a sort of a focus group
Yeah.
and ask them,
Okay.
what would you like to see in here? Sometimes you have to get in the shoes of the person you're
Right.
trying to attract, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm trying to
Yeah.
get more Laura Lians to show up to my events, I'm going to go to Laura Lian and say,
Yeah.
what made you come to my event in the first place? And bounce a couple ideas off you
Sure.
and say, look, would this work? Would this work? And then even take it further from there. When I think about what you're about, maybe thinking about, from your perspective, what would Laura Lian say about this on every single idea that we talk about,
Okay.
and then you work backwards from there and say,
Right.
look, we should really definitely have this type of information at this
Sure.
event, or this type of food because she really
Yeah.
likes this type of food, or
Yeah.
this type of activity if you're trying to make it a fun activity.
Okay.
And you talk about how informal the event is,
Yeah.
or how formal the event is as well,
Okay.
as well as your champions. So influencers,
Yeah.
we're networking, right? So people that can bring people to events, and reach out to those people and say, look, what day should I have the event?
Yeah.
Yeah, how many people do you think would you even come?
So it's
And
almost
ask them.
asking them on a personal level.
Yeah.
I like that because it's not only a personal invite, but you're like, hey, who would you like to bring? So it already gets their wheels starting to turn of, oh yeah, who could I bring as a guest? So then you can at least count on a couple heads, additional new people coming.
That's the key. So I call my network my squad. So I
Yeah.
always lean on my squad.
That's
I've done it so many different times, and it's easy for me to lean on my squad for things that sometimes that benefit me, but a lot of times they don't benefit me. And so, but I do the same things for them. So they have every green light to
Yeah.
lean on me for things, and they do.
That's
And so it is
cool.
give and take.
I like
And
that.
so I think a lot of people just sometimes they feel they don't want to be that person that keeps
Yeah.
asking for
I
things,
see that- yeah.
but you're really asking them for feedback a lot of times,
Yeah.
and you're asking them for help.
Yeah.
Most people, when you ask somebody for advice on something, they're proud to give it to you,
Yes.
and they love the
Okay.
fact that you're asking them.
They
They're
kinda
actually
feel
honored.
Yeah, I was just gonna
They
say,
do.
Yeah. And I think it's just how you go about it. And again, everyone has their own style, but just being really authentic and as genuine as you can be of like, hey, you're helping me to grow and I know really great connections and people, it's just sharing it that way. And kind of going off the power partner thing too, I remind them like use people in your community. Like maybe that's actually a good opportunity to go meet this person that you've never actually talked to, your neighbor down the street, and say, hey, could we do a collaboration and a co-branding of a workshop and where you bring this part and I do the other part? And I was just trying to give my client ideas on how like, hey, literally leverage your community. It's okay if you don't know them, but let's ask.
That's a great excuse
okay.
to meet them.
Yeah.
And you don't know,
Exactly.
you don't even understand how much stuff you have in common with them.
I know, because you never asked.
Yeah,
Or you didn't
you
even know
never-
they existed.
Exactly. There's so much that come up that can turn
Yeah.
into one of your best friends just by asking
Right.
the question. And collaboration is just,
I know.
that is so, I could talk about collaboration
Right.
forever.
Yeah.
You can't do anything by yourself.
No.
It's tough to do great things by
It is.
yourself.
Yeah.
Anybody who says this, they've done everything and have never had any help from anybody, doesn't really, they're not being honest.
Oh, thank you. These are really great tips, and this has been a great conversation, Raghu. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Of
I love
course.
this.
Yeah. Well, if you know of anyone that has any questions about branding or strategy, we'd love to have you on a show next month at $1 Million Brands. And we'll see you next month. Take care.